Welcome to the female bodybuilding, #1 women's bodybuilding channel in the entire world, FBBC.
On YouTube, in the world, and everywhere.
We have TikTok now because of JB is a nerd. So we have TikTok, we have Twitter, we have Instagram, we have Facebook,
Twitch,
and soon we will have OnlyFans starring JB. And
no.
Anyway, we're gonna go quick into it. We have 2 amazing guests today. We have the winner. What's her name?
The winner?
Winner of Puerto Rico, bro.
Puerto Rico. I'm just forward. I'm just forward.
All that weed, my friend. Stop with the weed. It's not good for you.
No, Roshana Boswell. We have,
and we have the women's physique showstopper, but only 3rd place.
Yeah, Tequila Reddrick.
We're gonna talk to these amazing athletes later, but right now we're gonna quick give you a tiny little clip. We have some exclusive footage from the women's bodybuilding #2 athlete, Hella Trevino. She was so nice to send us some beautiful footage.
Yep. Thank you very much.
We're going to go straight into it so you can see it.
Yeah.
3rd place, we have the Slovakian princess, I think her name is on Instagram, Erika Dankova.
Yeah.
There was only 3 athletes. She finished in 3rd place.
Yeah.
The routine, as you can see, I think she gave a 3-minute performance.
More than 3 minutes, 3:50 or something.
I like it when, listen, I love routines.
Yeah, me too.
Obviously, there's ways to improve this routine, but I like the way that she gives us 3.5 minutes of what she has. Like, that's what we want to see, JB, isn't it?
Yeah, of course. And thank you very much to the head judge not to interrupt it.
Yeah. And as you know, the physique needs, we need to put on more size, so we need a lot better conditioning. And I'm sure she's going to do it in the future, JB. Don't you think so?
Yeah, and she's young. She has much time, so so she can do it.
But I would suggest to maybe wait to jump on stage again till it's there.
Yeah, like I'm an old school bodybuilding fan. You know, I'm an old man, and I know
you're not old at all, bro. Old? You're not even 45, bro. What are you talking about?
I'm 45, but you know what? It's like since the past. Some of the athletes trained for 15 years and then first time step on stage. So think about it.
Maybe take a couple of years to pack on the size, the quality, and then get the conditioning that you need for the pro stage.
Yeah.
And she has great frame.
Definitely.
So let's hope she takes that time for next time, huh? Yeah. In 2nd place,
the lady
called it. You said Reshanna was going to win. You weren't sure, but that's what your gut feel. She came in. She had more size.
Yeah.
Did she sacrifice some of the size for the conditioning, JB?
I think yes. I didn't think that she had 200 pounds on stage. No way. No way. So she a little bit sacrificed, but from last year there was improvement. I thought so, and she had a great size, I think. Yeah, so
she added great size, but as you said, we would like to have seen maybe the same conditioning as we saw at Tampa to really see, because it's not so easy to see the size gaining when the conditioning is not the same, correct?
Yeah, in some poses I missed the cuts in the legs, like everybody says, and me too, and some separation from the back in the hamstrings. But maybe it's on the day it was too hot or something. I don't know.
I think she looked fantastic. She brings the star quality to the show.
Yeah.
You see, she won Best Posting Award. It was a very short routine, though. It was 1 minute and 30 seconds.
Yeah.
She was posting there to Whitney Houston. We can't use the soundtrack because then we're going to get copyrighted. But there was no stream. So we at least here you see some of it.
Yeah.
And JB, I must say, this was the most epic side triceps I've seen in women's bodybuilding since Andrea Shaw, bro. Did you? You have to post that picture. We're gonna use it for the thumbnail so people see. Oh, she was like Jay Cutler 2001, but even prettier because it's a woman, you know.
You posted already on Instagram, yeah.
Oh, JB, what are you thinking about her side triceps?
Yeah, it was great. I was flashed, by the way, when I saw the picture.
Impressive, huh?
Yeah, impressive. Yeah, very impressive. And I think
the hams are dropping there.
Yeah, she should expose it as her signature move.
Signature pose. And with the cheeks, you know, the jaw cheeks, and the side triceps, and the hams, and the blonde hair.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. Maybe
this is what we fans of women's bodybuilding enjoy seeing, isn't it?
Yeah. Maybe she can take the chance and make some pictures with Jay Cutler these days.
Could she have won?
Yes. Yes.
I lost you, bro. I can't see you. Hello, is it me you're looking for?
I'm still there. We're talking, and I can see you, and I'm recording you, so no problem.
Okay. Anyway, could she have won?
Yeah, she could. She could.
Because of the size advantage.
Yeah, it was a size. Yeah. I don't because I personally didn't talk to any of the judges, so I cannot really decide what they were looking for, and I don't see the exact scorecard anyway, so I don't know what they're.
Then we are going to the winner, who most pros we've talked to that was there in the building live, not like us idiots all the way in Europe, but in front sitting. They all said Roshana was the winner.
Yeah.
They said she had more detail.
Yeah.
They said she had better legs from the back, especially.
Yeah.
They saw she had superior ab separation and clean lines.
Yeah.
And even though they said there was some size advantage to Julia, it wasn't as big size advantage as we would expect. That's what they said.
Yeah, maybe it's from the appearance. I don't know. We weren't there, so I don't know.
Reshanna Boswell takes their first time ever in her first show of the season. She takes the win.
Yeah. And you take it to Las Vegas.
And she's going to Las Vegas, and we're not going to go so much into it. You can see a little bit of the footage here because she's going to come on.
Yes.
And let me tell you before she comes on, JB, when you see those pictures, as you know, women's abs, deep abs, it's not only in the women's, especially in women's bodybuilding, we're missing it, but it's also in open men sometimes. You know, the old school, deep, separated, beautiful abs of the 80s, they're gone.
The classic physique, yeah.
They're even more gone in women's bodybuilding than in men's bodybuilding, but it's also gone in men's bodybuilding also, some of them.
Yeah.
So when we see those nice abs of Reshanna on center stage, it warms the bodybuilding soul, doesn't it?
Yeah, it reminds on the efforts of the 90s, 80s and 90s.
I know.
Where it was the first thing. You don't go on stage when you don't have the separation on the abs. So
no.
Yeah.
And also gotta say, remember when back in the day we used to force Reshanna to smile?
Yeah.
That's gone now. She's smiling like never before on stage.
Yeah. And she had fun, but you can see it later.
Okay, guys, remember to
subscribe.
And JB, once and for all, we are
out for now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Welcome everyone to the Female Bodybuilding channel, and today we're joined by the women's physique athlete who stole the show in Puerto Rico. Even though she got started, she stole the show. Takeela Reddrick.
Welcome.
And Tequila, first of all, I remember now, 2019, I think you turned pro.
Yes.
And Trey Hodge sent a DM to JB and myself, and he showed just the back first. And he said, look at this masterpiece. And we were like, wow, who is this? And then a couple of days ago, you informed us you were making your pro debut. We were really excited because me and JB, we saw the Instagram pics, and finally we saw a women's physique girl with some size. So we were like, oh, this is going to be an easy win.
Yeah.
Then you show up at Puerto Rico, and everything goes well. We saw the live stream. They didn't have no stream, so we saw Instagram live. You were in the middle. You were dominating. Trey Hodge was like, this is a wrap. This is a wrap. And then they moved you to the center. No, to out to the side.
Yeah.
What were you thinking then?
Honestly, I was just like, okay, first of all, just actually getting on stage, I was just super excited just because it has been like, it's been 3 years. And so, me getting on stage, I was just excited to be there. So obviously when I was in the center, I was just like, yes, okay, I actually can really do this. I try not to let everyone, Tequila, you got this in your head, because I'm like, you know what, you never know. Obviously, you never know. You never know what's going to happen. So when they moved me out, honestly, I was just like, okay, we're just going to see how this goes. They did kind of bring us in and then bring us away because we had a girl who came in late. And so after that second time coming in is kind of when they kind of moved me out. And I was like, okay, did I lose some posing? Did I not? Am I not? Like, I started questioning things in my own head. But at the same time, I was like, okay, now it's time to really get up there and perform and like, give it my all. So I knew kind of after we left, it was between, first and third.
We're going to go back a little bit into your history, the way to get there, what's going to happen next and all that. But just about this, because when a woman is so dominant on stage, but doesn't win or is not in the middle, it's got to feel, because this was game over, but obviously with the criteria and all this, that you think about later. But when you went, like, because when we saw the results, me and JB thought it was a mistake. We couldn't believe it. We was like, what is going on? And we reached out to different people. Some people say it was robbery. Some people just say, no, she's not women's physique. She is women's bodybuilding. How much did you weigh?
I was 141, about 141.
So you're not that heavy. You just have very great proportions.
Yeah. And so I think that's where, and I've gotten that throughout my whole career. I'm bodybuilding, women's physique, bodybuilding. You need to go bodybuilding. You need to go women's physique. When I stand next to, my mentors, Monique and, and Sheena, I'm like, obviously I'm not bodybuilding. Hello, so that is that middle ground that Trey and I are trying to figure out, what's the best route for me to go, to kind of size down for women's physique or see what my natural, what my potential will be to grow. I am 41 years old, so we're trying to see, how far we can actually take this for me to be competitive.
Before we start with our manipulation to get you into women's bodybuilding, first of all, one thing, we know a lot of athletes who complain on prep and falling out because their dog was a little bit sick or something happened to their nails and they couldn't step up. Tell us, when we saw that you have Crohn disease, I'm not so familiar with it. Talk to us a little bit about that and what you have to do to step on stage.
So Crohn's disease is in the realm of an autoimmune disorder that it's an inflammatory disease that attacks your intestines. So it can be in your small intestines, large intestines, small, and mine's in my bowel. And so what that happens is that my body is not able to absorb a lot of nutrients, and I'm not able to break down a lot of fibrous foods, which obviously that's everything that has to do with bodybuilding. I can't do anything vegetable wise, pretty much. And and stress actually is a number one factor in building up that inflammation. And when that happens, I can't digest anything. And so I will go to being like complete flat stomach, six pack to literally 30 seconds. I can be like 6 months pregnant and, I can't like move. And so sometimes, training, and it can go either way. One day I can eat white rice and be fine. The next day I can eat white rice again and be double over in pain. And so it's kind of tricky trying to figure out what foods that I can digest and the portion, the sizes that I can digest.
Have you learned that always?
Yes.
Is that under control now?
It's getting under control. It's getting under control. This prep was a lot better. There's a lot of things that I have to do before I even put food in my mouth to keep the inflammation down. So I'm doing a lot of pills that have your peppermint oils. I'm doing a lot of natural supplements. When I was diagnosed, I was on 26 pills a day with different steroids and anti-inflammatories. And that was when I was like, I can't do this. I'm not gonna be on all of this medication or injections. My mom also has Crohn's disease. And we both have had she's had 6 inches of her intestines taken out, and I've had an inch of my small intestines taken out. So it's kind of tricky. So keeping my stress levels down is number one. I did a very good job this prep of doing that, and I feel like that helped a lot with eating. And so some days I'm able to get in all my meals, and some days I'm like, Trey, I can only get in about 2 or 2.5 meals in a shake, just so that I can be able to train. And so obviously that in the back of my head makes me question if I'm able to put on that size that I'm needing to be competitive in the bodybuilding realm.
Are you pushing things now to be 141?
No, I'm not pushing a lot at all, actually. I'm not pushing a lot at all. Not at all. And that is the thing. A lot of people, and in the past I have, and a lot of people were like, Tequila, this is the healthiest that you have looked and felt on prep. And it is the healthiest that I have felt on prep with Trey, with not being on a lot of compounds and keeping that stress level. Like I said, I think this prep was good with me just focusing on keeping those stress levels down with a lot of meditation, a lot of yoga, and THC. So those 3 things together and CBD has helped keep a lot of that stress and that gut stress down for me.
So, okay. Because this is a little bit trickier than we thought, because when we put the comparisons pictures for people with you, with Reshanna, on first glance, you in some shots you're even having her in a way, but she is 166, he just said. And even though the illusion on the comparison pic, JB, it can look similar, when you put someone on stage with 25 pounds less size, and you just said that you were 41, there's a lot of things you said you have to do before you eat, because you have to eat a lot more. This is not about the gear or anything. It's about the food. If you're going to put on 20 pounds of stage muscle at age 41 with these things, we don't want to say do it. This is a hard.
Right. That's a hard. Exactly. So that's exactly what I've been kind of. And now off season wise, now we did diet down a lot to get. So my normal. And at the same time, I am a spin instructor, and I teach spin in infrared heat. And so I teach about 6 to 7 times a week. So some things in training can be manipulated to kind of keep that size on me that, I was kind of doing to kind of cut down. So my off season, I am about between 158 to 165.
Okay.
So, and that's with me, you know, just off season teaching normally, eating regularly, and all of that stuff. So, you know, it's kind of one of those things that where when I got my pro card, I was about 150, about 152.
Okay, so you were bigger then. Okay.
Yeah, so I was bigger then. I was bigger then. So this is definitely the leanest that I have been trying to cut down, because that was my critique. Trying to get my pro card in women's physique. I was too big. I was too big. I was too big. I was too big. And that is when we went over to bodybuilding.
When will you make the decision of on which class you want to stick to?
So we're gonna kind of go back to the drawing board. We're gonna decide by this weekend if we're going to try to we're gonna jump in to Atlanta Pro to see how I look. You know what I mean? We can just see
in women's bodybuilding.
In women's bodybuilding, yes, because they're only doing women's bodybuilding at Atlanta Pro.
So you're doing Atlanta.
We're making that decision this weekend. So we're gonna see how my body is. I've been eating a lot this weekend. I'm full. So we're going to take those shots. We're going to take those shots this weekend and see how I look. And then we might jump into Atlanta to see how I stage up, and then make that definite decision where we feel like I can really grow and make a home and be competitive.
So we have to talk to Dr. Dre.
Trey, you know, the man with the plan, man with the plan. He did about a week before. Monique and him came to me and they were like, "So, what about doing bodybuilding?" And I was like, "What?" I was like, "You do know we have 5 days." Y'all will love this one. And then Monique was like, I said, "I don't even have a suit for Monique was like, "Oh, I have one you can borrow." Monique.
Oh. Let us.
Don't know.
Let me ask you there, because it's very well known that anyway. Is Monique Jones coming back? Yes or no?
No, I don't know.
You just don't want to snitch. Is she coming back?
I wish I could give you that. I don't know.
Who have you ever trained with Monique?
I have not trained with Monique. No, she just does a lot of my posing and a lot of my come to Jesus moments with me.
Who has because JB, have you ever seen a women's physique athlete? Because right now Tequila is women's physique, correct? Have you ever seen a better back in women's physique, JB?
Not really. No.
This is some crazy. And look at the delts. This is like, what's going on? So how do you train your delts and back?
Well, I do a lot. I think it comes from my background I do a lot of pull-ups. I started off when I first started training. At that point, my boyfriend was like, "We're doing 100 pull-ups before training." This is when I first started, like years. And I was like, "What?" So I think that actually helped build my foundation. And so I do a lot of pull-ups, a lot of pulls. Believe it or not, I've never shrugged a day in my life.
Really?
Yeah, I've never shrugged a day in my life. So this has been a lot of pull-ups and a lot of rows and a lot of
body weight pull-ups, or
yes, body weight pull-ups, full body weight pull-ups.
Is that I would say, especially in my gym, it's probably the least used. Is that the exercise that people do? Because I never do it. In my gym, I don't see no one doing it.
No, not at all. Not at all. But I think that was something for me that built that foundation. And from there, everything else that I do that involves ladder, back, or trap work is just icing on that cake, because that's exactly where I started, was just body weight pull-ups, 100 pull-ups before I work out.
We're going to get the announcement. This interview will be out before, probably in the weekend. So we will release the information for people watch this interview. When in a couple of days after this interview, you will see information if she's doing women's bodybuilding or what show or whatever. But let's talk a little bit about you. What drives you besides bodybuilding? Who are you as a person? What motivates you? What's your views on things in life? Like, who are you?
Who am I? I am a person that I service others. I service others. I am from the beginning, from a kid. I started my own community, volunteer groups, to I am bona fide a full-time trainer. And that's what I do all day. So seeing others, get better and live a better lifestyle, and they get motivated through seeing me. I actually had to go down to Puerto Rico alone, and I sent I'm an only child, so I sent a message to my grandmother, and I was like, I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm low-key sad that I'm here. And the next 30 minutes, I got a 18-minute video from all of my clients and people in my classes telling me how much I mean to them and how much I inspire them. And I was like, I'm not alone at all. I'm sitting here thinking I'm alone. And I knew I wasn't alone, but just sitting out there on that balcony, a couple of days for the show with your feet propped up and, hungry and all of that stuff. And I'm like, I want someone to talk to. But I was like, I'm not alone. I'm not alone. And that right there fires me up. And so as people see me living that life and they're wanting to kind of join in and they want to change their lives, that's why I do this. That's why I do this. And so I've always been a person that's been a service to others in any way that I can possibly be. And if it's in fitness or in spiritual or, in any way I can be, that's why I'm here.
Great.
Yeah.
Have you always why didn't you compete by 2019 all the way to now? Was there a reason it took so long?
Well, we had the COVID year, and then I was actually starting prep, and then my Crohn's went haywire. I was under stress, and so I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna pull out, let my body rest, and when my body tells me it's ready, it's ready. Before that, I actually started off in fitness, so I started competing in fitness.
In fitness, really? Oh,
yes.
You were jumping around and standing on your hands.
I still have my signature headstand in my routine though. So y'all gonna have to catch that. I hate that y'all missed the guys get it, but we didn't have a live stream.
Did you do? Hey, wait! Stop it! Did you do standing on your hands in your routine at Puerto Rico? And we didn't.
Yeah, that's how I started my routine.
What?
Wow.
Yeah, that's why I started my routine. So Beyonce.
Can we see it? Can we see it?
Let me put me on pride. Let me see. I think I could do it. I should be able to do it. Let's see.
Yeah.
Do you see? Am I back far enough?
Yeah.
I'm back far enough. Start off here.
Oh, you start off like this.
If I went to that, if I went up, and I did a little flick. And then I rolled into a split and all that fun stuff. Yeah. So it was fun.
That's exactly. JP.
Great.
What type of posing, what song did you do it to?
So I did it to 6-inch heels. So I started off dynamic, and that's what I said. I'm going to do something completely different. I'm going to start off dynamic, and then I'll stop and then go into more of your slow and, your sexy, stuff after that. So I started off dynamic and then slowed it down in the middle and so you can get all of those angles and shots.
JB, great. What a disgrace that there was no stream during what a disgrace. Will they have a stream at Atlanta?
I'm not sure. I hope so. Because that's definitely my signature. But if I don't do Atlanta and we decide to do bodybuilding and work on kind of building, then we're going to definitely do Savannah.
Okay. So, because you are aware that there is a flight to Brazil this Saturday, and there's one girl in it, and you will beat her, and you can go to the Miss Olympia. Are you aware of this?
Yes. Yes.
I'm just saying if you want the Olympia ticket, you can take a flight to Brazil. I don't know how it is with your job. You can go on stage, you can beat her, and you can come back to America as going to Miss Olympia in your rookie year.
That's a thought. That's a thought.
JB, that would be something, wouldn't it, JB?
Yeah, it would be like the German pro said, I'm going there, going there, going there, going there. Took everything.
That would be something. That would be something.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's it.
Anyway, we want to get to know you because we first of all, JB, we are very impressed with her high spirit and her energy.
Yeah, definitely.
We are very impressed by her smile, and we are very impressed with these tremendous belts that we are doing. This is fantastic. Trey Hodge believes very much in you. He said that to us. Obviously, knowing your little bit more about history, I think switching to women's bodybuilding should be 100% your choice and not fans or coaches, or it should be really your choice. And whatever you are doing, and even if you are doing women's physique, even if you don't, Sarah Viegas, you have the same size as her, huh?
I don't know. That's the thing. I'm like, when I look at Sarah, I look at Natalie, Natalia, and I'm just like, I am not too big. So
Natalia, you are a lot bigger, but Sarah Viegas, JB, how much is Sarah Viegas? 135, 140?
140, yeah. How about that? Yeah.
I'm just saying. Yeah.
I'm thinking. I'm just from the eye.
Yeah.
Go where your heart leads you.
I am. And we're doing some definitely deep soul searching, and especially, obviously my health is number one. So, we're taking this couple of days to eat lots of food to see how my stomach does.
When is Atlanta?
Atlanta's in 3 weeks.
3 weeks.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, not too much though, but you can fill up a little bit more. But we got to keep the midsection and everything tight.
Yeah, and that is our goal. So we have some plans for that and some things I want to do to target that. Because when I come back, I just don't want to come back and being like, okay, I'm just going to keep coming. I want to come back and make improvements. And improvements for me, make improvements in that midsection. And there's some things that I want to do that I feel like in 3 weeks, I won't make a difference in 3 weeks. And so if I was going to do bodybuilding, my heart of hearts wants to kind of push it a little bit longer so I can, get those plans and attack them and actually make those improvements that I want to see on myself on stage.
Where can people reach you if they want to if they want personal training or for whatever? How can people reach you?
Instagram, baby, TurboTK _IFBB Pro. And I'm always there, so you can DM me, and I will get right back to you.
And thank you very much for your time, and we will announce very soon what the next. And even if you do Atlanta, I don't think you have to even make the decision this week what you're going to do. You can just do Atlanta in 3 weeks, and then just take it from there.
Yeah. We'll see. We're working. Yeah. We're in. This is the beginning of it. So.
Before we go, you gotta turn around and give us a lat spread. We need to post this on JB. We just gotta post this on Instagram that you're coming because JB. Okay, we gotta post this for our.
Yeah.
Oi, JB. Oi. Now we're talking bodybuilding, aren't we? Are we? Okay. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys. Have a great one. Thank you. Bye.
You too. Bye.
And today, we're joined by the Puerto Rico pro women's bodybuilding winner, Reshanna Boswell.
Yes, we did it. We did it.
So, Reshanna, we saw coming in, there's been a little bit different Reshanna, meaning we've seen you a little bit more on YouTube and other people have seen in your physique leading in, talking very highly about you. We saw the comments on the Jay Cutler video, and there was a lot of there's always going to be the trolls, but there was a lot of positive feedback about your physique, and you came into the Puerto Rico Pro and you did it.
Yeah, got it done.
Congratulations.
Thank you. No, it felt really good. I mean, the whole weekend went exactly how I wanted it to go. So yeah. Really like the package that we brought.
First of all, talk to us a little about your coach. Was very enthusiastic all over Instagram. He's very proud of you. Very JB. He's a perfect hype man and a coach. Talk.
He's really, actually, we actually clicked really well. I guess that's just the best way to say it. We started right after the Olympia, and we started just some off-season work. I knew I needed to add some size and everything coming back for this year. And I'd reached out to a few people. I had like a list of like 3 people, and he was one of them.
What's his name?
Eric Broser.
Eric Broser, for people with the C, correct?
Yeah, he's out of Dragon's Lair now. So we started end of last year in the off season. I'm like, you think you can help me with size? And he's like, well, I can definitely get size on you for sure. So initially my previous coach, wanted me to take the year off and grow. And I'm like, I'm kind of feeling good. I don't really want to take a year off. So I want to see what I can do with the time that I have and, see if we can make it work. So we started off season training, and then it just worked really well. And then we started talking about putting a prep together. And then we did about a 16-week prep for this show. And
let me stop you 1 second. Off season, putting on size. What was the difference you did this time, so people can understand what's the difference?
Well, a couple of things. So I will say, like, what my initial thoughts were for off season, what my weight should be, wasn't the case at all. Initially, I thought I had to be 200 pounds and we were going to cut and be at this point, and I never did. I gained for this show about 7 pounds heavier on stage than I was last year. Off season, I gained a total of 14 pounds. So
wait. So you were 7 pounds up from this 2021 Miss Olympia?
Yeah, we hit stage this year just under 165. And I was about 157, 158 or so last year. So we added a little bit. But I didn't even gain that much in off season. I gained about 14 pounds. We were working with this 14 pounds off season. So I really got lean and kept a good bulk of that as I was dieting down. I mean, my max weight, I got up to maybe like 174, 176, somewhere around there. And that was my highest in off season. So we didn't go even crazy bulk.
So when you see me and JB have like, what can I say? JB, when we get like this, 200 pounds, when you see JB, me having orgasms on stories with 200 pounds ladies, what are you thinking then at home? Look at these idiots.
Well, what's funny is I'm like 200 pounds. I'm like, I'm not 200 pounds in off season, so I don't know what's thinking. But at the same time, I will say it's the quality of the muscle, and my look is completely different with even, that 6 or 7 pounds difference. It made a difference in my physique, and I'm sure I can put on another 6 or 7 and it'll make an even bigger difference. So we're trying to add it on slowly. I do need to get a little bit bigger per some of the judges' feedback, from the show already. But while keeping my shape and keeping my flow, because that's what I need, and that's my winning mark, the lines, the shape, that kind of thing. So keeping my waist super tight while trying to add on a little bit more muscle. So we're trying to do it very slowly, very gradually, and it has to be gradual for everything else to stay intact. So
the conditioning was. How was your conditioning at this show compared to your best conditionings last show in 2021?
Savannah was probably my best conditioning last year. I think this was probably my leanest look so far. I think I was pretty lean this time around. I was leaner than I was last year, and definitely a little bit more muscular this year too. So, but we definitely came in leaner this year for sure.
JB, we didn't know it was because Roshana, we had sadly no stream. For whatever reasons, and there were no professional there were photographers at the show, but you can't really judge based on photography. So we couldn't tell it was that much of a difference because we don't know, because when you don't see the stream, we don't know. So when we hear 7 pound stage muscle and she competed at December.
Yeah.
We had a really good off season. It was a very productive off season. There was no pounds wasted. Like we really, yeah.
So when you say a good off season, were you hungrier this off season? Was there something?
No.
I mean, mentally. I mean, what did you want, or are you just always this hungry? Because that's a lot of pounds, 7 pounds in such a short,
Yeah, well, like I said, after the Olympia, and after I'm always getting the judges' feedback, and we knew I needed to grow. How much I could grow and how much size and mass I could put on to be competitive, I didn't know. I knew I needed to probably change up some things with my training. So I did. I really wanted to reach out to someone who I knew that was their thing, and they could get that done. They can get it done. Hey, if we have 6 months or 8 months to work with, can you put more muscle on me? Yes or no? And that was the bottom line. And it was like, yes, if you follow my training program, and you follow my training style, we increase the protein all the way around. I mean, I'm eating 6 or 7 meals a day. The proteins, 6-7 ounces almost of salmon and things like that. So I mean, I increased my protein. Carbs were still relative, but increased my training, decreased the volume. But it was really just more, just the intensity of the workouts definitely increased. So, yeah.
And right now, who has the greatest sets of abs in women's bodybuilding, Roshana?
Oh, I don't really train mine every day, so I don't know. I mean, they're there.
You don't train abs at all?
To be completely honest, I laugh all the time because I quite honestly don't. They're not necessarily an afterthought, but I mean, I train them twice a week, like I do an average, muscle group. I don't train them every single day or with any specific exercise. I have like 2 or 3 moves, and that's pretty much.
They grow automatically with the back training.
Because when Julia was also looked very Julia Fury. She looked. I saw that you said bigger is not always better. That wasn't towards her. You were just saying it on your Instagram there.
It was a little bit of both. It was definitely a little bit of both. I mean, if when your coach coaches that you're 200 pounds, and I'm like, well, hell, I haven't seen 200 pounds. So either, but at the same time, it's bodybuilding. So of course, certain people like a lot of mass, and I get it. But for me, I'm like, I still say, hey, aesthetics and conditioning should still trump over mass if it's not conditioned. So
was Julia? How was Julia's condition?
I mean, I think she could have been tighter. I mean, I probably could have been tighter too. But on that day, I was the tighter of the two and the better conditioned of the two, despite the exercise that she has. And I mean, I think it just depends. I think I have great quads. I think you can see the separation in my quads pretty clearly. I think my legs are actually bigger than hers. And for someone to be 200 pounds, my legs really shouldn't be bigger than yours, So I think that comes down to symmetry and the proportion as well.
Because we saw JB, when you saw the pictures from the front, it's very important when your entire midsection has this deep detail that Roshana has, JB. When you're standing next to an athlete who does not have that, it's the front shots, it's got to go one way then, and the back shots, your glutes were tighter and more striation in the hamstrings.
Yeah.
Side shots, I would say that one was, she had some great side shots. Agreed?
She has a good side. She has a good side shot. My side tricep or side chest are probably my 2 weakest poses. My rear double rear lat have gotten a lot better, and then because my glutes and hamstrings were just tighter, I think that made it look better. I'm always going to have a good front shot just because of the initial shape and how my waist looks. So my front shots are always going to be pretty spot on.
Is there any way to switch the side triceps pose in a different way? Have you tried it in a different way of hitting them?
I mean, we played around with a few different poses, and we actually switched it kind of at the last minute. So the side pose that I actually hit, it shows a little bit better. It makes my legs look a bit bigger, so it makes my overall shape just look a little bit bigger on stage, especially depending on who I'm standing next to. So for us, it was always trying to hit the biggest, whatever shot made me look the biggest on stage.
Back in the day, you used to do 20 shows to get a win. Now, now you're going, the first guaranteed was a win. Then what's the next step now? Are we doing Orlando?
We're going to do one more show. We actually haven't decided quite yet. Initially, it was going to be Puerto Rico, Atlanta, Chicago. Chicago is probably still on the table. We haven't quite confirmed that yet. We're going to still go back and look at the schedule. But we're only going to do one more show before the Olympia. If we get the invite for Rising Phoenix, then it'll be Rising Phoenix and Olympia. But there'll be one other regular season show that we'll do. And it's going to be more so, I think, just really for us to make sure that we have the peaking process kind of down to a science and really can nail it, for the two big shows. So that's kind of the
Atlanta, we don't know who's doing it yet. When is that?
It will be a big show, though. It's just from kind of watching Instagram and a lot of the girls and the ambassadors and stuff. That actually that will be the biggest show this year. I can pretty much guarantee it.
No, Chicago will be the biggest, won't it?
And well, Atlanta will be first. You'll have Atlanta will hit first, and then like that following week will be Chicago. So those two shows are going to be big. Tampa's always a fairly big show too. But now I think we're going to start getting into, as we're getting kind of later into the season, a lot of people have been talking about Atlanta since it's a new show. And then right after that next weekend will be Chicago. So a lot of people I think are going to end up doing both and potentially even looking better for the Chicago show than even the Atlanta show.
So what do you want to do? Chicago or Atlanta?
If I do anything else, it'd be Chicago. I mean, I live here, so it's a home show for me. I'm doing it for
and we have been hyping the Reshanna versus Sheena Oleg, who is the best of the new generation duel. How can you beat? What's your strengths towards Sheena Oleg?
I think my strengths don't change necessarily. I think it's still the same. I think my waist is still small. My overall shape and symmetry are still top notch. And then if I fill out a little bit more on the upper body, I think I can stand next to just about anyone at this point. So I feel pretty confident in that across the board.
Because Sheena has a athletic body. She has JB. She has some of the similarities Roshana has. Sheena Oleg, doesn't she, JB?
Yeah, we have a similar physique.
Yeah.
When I look at some of the bodybuilders, I would say that we and her definitely have a similar physique. I still trump on my waist though in my abs, so I'm still gonna vote for me. but we have similar physiques. Like I like her physique as well. I think she has a good symmetry and good shape as well. So
that's true.
Yeah. And also, we're going to see the debut of, was it Chelsea Dion, who looked very good at her women's bodybuilding pro debut. Now, pro card win, but obviously it's different meeting the pros and amateurs. That's a completely different. Last question about just quick. Why do you think? Do you get upset that there's so few athletes competing, or does that bother you, or is it? Like, how do you feel about that?
I don't know. It's. I think everyone kind of chooses their shows based on whatever. And it was funny. I like this year. I feel like it kind of started off slow as far as shows. Puerto Rico was kind of always on my map for the year. Like it didn't change initially. I mean, my wife's Puerto Rican. I wanted to take her on a trip. So it was going to be a mini vacation for us, and it would be great. I wanted to compete, so it kind of worked out that way for me. So like I chose that show based on that. I also started dieting a little bit sooner. And I had said that before. I think a lot of people waited till later on in the year to start dieting and are just not ready. And some people are just still recovering from injuries and took, a little bit of time off to kind of recover from injuries as well. So I think that's kind of what pushes it back a little bit. I don't think it has much else to do with like money or the prize money or any of that. People just choose shows based a lot more on that. So that's why I say I know like the upcoming show, Chicago is always going to be a big show. It's a pro-am show too. So I feel like then you could cross right over, get your pro card and stuff. So I feel like Chicago's always going to be a big show. Tampa's usually pretty big. I do think it started off a bit slow. And I mean, I thought we'd have a few more in Puerto Rico. But I mean, I also think that, even with me and Julia, it was, at least the quality of the athlete was there. So.
Yeah. Does your wife, because you're married to is she interested in bodybuilding at all?
I mean, she's a teacher, but she's a teacher, but like she follows the sport. I can have conversations with her about what's going on. She's really good at motivating, and she does all the meal prep. She really, she has my meal plan. She knows what my coach sends me, and she portions out everything. She cooks every single Saturday without fail. So everything's good, like everything's portioned out and ready to go. And that's her contribution to prep. That and just being super supportive of me. So that's huge for me. Like I couldn't ask for more from her.
But does she watch the sport? Like, do you guys talk about who's winning the Olympia?
We'll talk. We'll look at some of the other athletes. Like she likes some of the other categories and stuff too. Like she knows, she's pretty good. She knows who's who and who's doing what. Yeah, she's pretty up on it and kind of follows them.
Yeah. Because you have two kids together.
Yeah, we have twins.
Mm-hmm. Twins. Yes. Yep. This Olympia, Reshanna.
Everybody was there at the show in Puerto Rico. That's what made it nice. Like I wanted that win, with my family there and having everybody there too. So it was like a perfect weekend for us.
Is it stressful the last day of the show with kids in the room?
When you brought the nanny, let me be clear. We also brought the nanny. So
okay.
We get separate rooms. I have my own room so that I can get ready, mentally focused. And she knows, and she knows she's awesome. She takes the kids, they go in the other room, and I'm left alone, just so I can focus up until the show time. And then after the show, we'll get back together. But I always have a separate room, and she understands that and gives me my alone time, and she takes them and whatever. And then like I said, we brought the nanny too, so she could help out.
Reshanna, this Olympia now, Reshanna, what's the mindset now? Because you're a champion now. You beat a girl with a little bit, like you show that you can beat a girl who had a little bit more size on you than you, but everything. Hella Trevino is out. Monique Jones is out. Alicia Young is out. There's a lot of top names out. This means that this Olympia now, it's pretty open after Andrea Shaw and Margie there. What's your mindset?
I feel really good about this Olympia. I think that this will be my best placing yet. I mean, so far my highest has been 9th. And coach has made it pretty clear. He's like, we're not there to just show up. We're aiming for a top 5. That is the absolute goal. Make no mistake about it. I feel very confident in where we're at, where my physique is, where my mindset is at this point. It is unwavering. I'm very confident in the package that we're working on and going to bring to the stage. I feel really good about this year.
JB, is there something wrong, JB, there? I see your facial expression. No. Just, if you shut it down now, though, Reshanna, and forget about these other shows and add a little bit more size before you stop prepping in December, in my mind, that's the smartest thing to do. But in your mind, it's not, or?
So where we're at now, we were just talking about that today. Because I reached out to the judges already. We've already gotten feedback. We know we need to add more size, and I think we have just enough time to do so. So the focus would really be, it's going to be dependent on if we get the Rising Phoenix or not. So Rising Phoenix would be just before the Olympia. So for sure, those are the 2 top shows. We'd absolutely do that. We were talking about doing one more show, like I said, just to kind of refine with the peaking process and things. But that's still on the table too, whether or not, depending on if we get the Rising Phoenix, I think that'll be the deciding factor. If we make that our 2 shows, or, if we try to get in one more, regular season show and then the Olympia. But we're definitely going to focus more so on trying to just add a touch more size. I think if we do, we will for sure be competitive at the Olympia, and that's the biggest goal here. But like me and my coach are really going to talk again this week. We have really good communication. We talked nonstop leading up to the show. We had a conversation the night before, and just step by step what we were going to do to make sure that we really peaked at the right time. Like I knew I had to carb up. I had to be full on stage to be competitive against her and at least look big on stage. So that was huge for us, and we were really good at communicating that and kind of nailing that part. I think the show but I think we can also do it a little bit better. We can come in even drier. So,
JB, don't you think? If she does another show, as this to learn to peak a little bit better, but it would be better to add a little bit more size than to learn to peaking a little bit better, because she has detail already. With a little bit more size, JB, wouldn't that be better, JB?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, we definitely need the size. We need the size. So that was the initial conversation. So yeah, we'll touch base a few more times this week, and then we'll kind of hash out the plan probably this, the end of the week or so, just so that we're not wasting any time and we can kind of get after it. But I do think we have enough time to add some more size for sure before the Olympia.
Yeah, enough.
Exciting times, Reshanna. We're also very excited that you found a coach that you believe in, that you have good communication skills with. You are bigger. You look completely as feminine and as beautiful as ever. Nothing's changed. Everything is working. And
it's a very good. Yeah, we clicked, and I think me and him both said it, that we just clicked really, really well when we initially were talking the night before the show. And as an athlete, he's like, I respect my pros. You tell me what has worked for you in the past. I'm going to tell you what I would normally do. And we kind of met in the middle about what I've done before, what I know works versus what he does. So we literally sat on the phone at like 10 o'clock at night, and he took some notes and I took some notes, and then he kind of emailed me, a final plan. But it was very much a collaboration of, hey, let's do this, let's see what works, and what do you think works. So it was a nice change. And it's very good communication. I think that's what's been the difference with us too.
Congratulations on the win. You will tell me and JB, one of us, what's the plan for next? We announce it on our Instagram.
Yeah.
For sure.
And before we go, Reshanna, why don't you have a singlet? You're in contest shape, Reshanna. Can't we see? Do you have a singlet underneath?
No, but hold on. Let me see what we got. Hold on.
Let's see what we got, because you're in contest shape, God. And
let me have a check. So we're good.
Okay, and we got to go a little bit back so we can see you got to go back a little bit. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
So this is Roshana Boswell. Oh, JB.
Yeah.
We are a couple of days out from Puerto Rico. Let's see. You see that? Flex one for the abs. We got to see the abs. We don't see this that much anymore in JB. Now we're talking business, and we will.
That's a 10.
Yeah, we're sitting at 160. Now we're sitting at 165 today. Post a couple of cheat meals. So.
And
but still 10.
Reshanna, since we've been stalking you since 2018-19, you come a long way, correct?
Yes.
And that's very important. You come a long way. You still have your family. A lot of people, they lose everything in this game. And you're still a family woman. You still look the same facially and everything. And health inside is good. And this is good.
This was actually the strictest prep, most stress-free. I did about half the amount of cardio. We didn't do any diuretics for this show. We took some expel. We didn't do too much crazy anything for the show. Kept it pretty simple as far as that's concerned. But yeah, this will be the best year for sure. I think mentally, physically, like I'm all in. I'm super, super pumped for this season and what we're gonna do next.
That's great.
Thank you very much for your time, Reshanna.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
See you next time. Bye-bye.